Okay, so here's some good news. There's nothing wrong with you. There's never been anything fundamentally wrong with you. You know, from the very beginning, you weren't broken. You weren't born into like spiritual slavery. You weren't born into sin. You weren't destined for, you know, the spiritual garbage heap. You know, there was never anything fundamentally missing from your life. There was never anything fundamentally lacking in you. You just, you know, you believe that there was because that's what you were taught growing up. That's basically what we're taught growing up, is that there's something fundamentally wrong with us. You know, that we're not good enough, we're not clever enough, we're not fast enough, we're not good looking enough, and then we become spiritual seekers, and then we feel that we're not peaceful enough, or that we're not enlightened enough, we're not awakened enough, we don't see clearly enough, we're not conscious enough, you know. And in our innocence, this is what we believe, because, you know, growing up, this is what we're taught, this is what we're told. You know, with no evidence to the contrary, we take these beliefs on. You know, we feel there's something fundamentally wrong with us. So then our lives become this search for some kind of solution to the problem of me. You know, how do we get rid of this brokenness inside of us? So we spend our lives really, you know, trying to fix ourselves, trying to purify ourselves, trying to make ourselves perfect and whole, and we seek power, and we seek fame, and we seek success, and we seek money, and we seek popularity, and then we become spiritual seekers, and we seek some future completion, some goal. You know, we seek enlightenment, we seek awakening, we seek the future wholeness, the future perfection, and then, you know, we start comparing ourselves. You know, out of this basic sense there's something wrong with us, that we're not whole and complete as we are. We start comparing ourselves with other me's, identifying as a me. We start comparing ourselves with other me's, and we feel superior, or we feel inferior. We feel better than someone or worse than someone. We feel you know, less or more than someone else, and it all becomes so exhausting, the whole thing. You know, trying to reach those seemingly unreachable goals, trying to get there, wherever there is, you know, and trying to live up to some image, always striving to live up to some image, the image of perfection, you know, an image that we don't even fully believe in anyway. So the whole search, you know, it becomes so exhausting. So many people that I meet around the world are just so exhausted with this whole thing, this constant striving for money, for success, for fame, for wealth, even for enlightenment, and never quite being able to get there, and feeling far away from there, or feeling very close to there, but not quite being able to get there. And even when you get there, you can't stay there permanently, and you get there and you lose there, and you want to get back there, you know. So the whole thing can become so exhausting, and what we long for then is just this deep rest. You know, we long for home. That's really the question underneath all of this, is where is home? Where is home? So the good news that goes right to the core of this universal teaching, and this is what I would say is what true spirituality is all about, is this realization that actually you were never broken. You were always whole from the very beginning. There was never anything fundamentally wrong with you. You were always perfect. But this is not the perfection of the mind, you see. The mind's idea of perfection is get rid of imperfection and become perfect. The mind's version of purity is get rid of impurity, destroy impurity, escape impurity, transcend impurity, and become pure. So it's always a movement, and it's time. The mind is time. But you see, the perfection that we're talking about, it's your inherent perfection. It's the perfection of life itself. It's the true perfection, I would say, the perfection of who you really are. It's a perfection that actually embraces imperfection. So you were always perfect in your total imperfection. It was your human, your very human imperfections, your quirks, your flaws, your strangeness, your weirdness, that unique, irreplaceable flavor, that's like the smell of you, that unique flavor, never to be repeated. I mean, that's what always made you so so lovable, so human, so real, actually, so relatable. Even in your imperfection, you were always that perfect expression of life itself. You were always a beloved child of the universe. You were always this unique work of art. That's what you always were from the very beginning. You were this unique, irreplaceable, unrepeatable work of art. There was never anything else like you. From the very beginning, this is what you were. You don't have to become this. You were always this from the beginning. It's like every wave in the ocean. The wave might feel separate from the ocean, but it never was separate. And from the very beginning, it was always a perfect expression of that vast ocean. So the wave was always trying to reach the ocean. That's what became so exhausting. But from the very beginning, the wave wasn't broken. The wave wasn't inherently, fundamentally separate from the ocean, even if it felt that way. It was always a complete expression of the ocean. So although it was, in essence, it was the ocean, it was also a unique, irreplaceable expression of that ocean. And that's what you've always been, a complete work of art, unique in all the world, and deserving of all the riches of life. So what I would say, true spirituality has nothing to do with becoming a perfectly fixed me, devoid of all imperfection. You see, life it was never about that. It was never becoming the perfect spiritual, enlightened me. It was always about being perfectly what you were, what you are, perfectly yourself, in all your, so I say, in all your divine strangeness. So there's no need to become some kind of spiritual zombie, devoid of your imperfect humanity. It's what we start to see is actually it's your imperfections that are expressions of this underlying perfection. It's there in your imperfections. There's no need to erase or destroy your imperfections. So spirituality becomes an embrace, just this complete, radical, unexpected embrace of you as you are in all your imperfection, your flaws, your strangeness. So what I would say is, let your spirituality become a celebration, not a rejection, but a celebration of your complete uniqueness as a wave in the ocean, knowing yourself as the ocean. That's what we all are: consciousness, awareness. Every tree, every flower, every volcano, every dinosaur, every star, every planet, it's all the expression of consciousness. So it's all the ocean, but at the same time you're this unique expression of the ocean. So don't try or pretend to be some other wave. Don't try and copy some other wave. Or I have to be a more spiritual wave. I have to be more like that wave. Don't be a second-hand wave. You're already this unique expression. So don't try or pretend to be no one or nothing or some transcendent, impersonal non-entity. That's another conceptual, fixed conceptual position. There's no need to try to be a non-dual wave or a vital wave or a spiritual wave. The wave, as it already is a perfect expression of the ocean, and you are already that. So this becomes a celebration of what you already are. So be that celebration. Be that celebration. Be the celebration that you are. Be the celebration of your unique expression, and stop apologizing for being that. You are that. There's no need to apologize for being that. You are that. You know, so the invitation is to fall in love with this perfectly divine and very human. That's the paradox. Totally divine, totally human. This perfectly divine, perfectly human mess that you are. You know, and I say that with love. You know, you are a mess. You know, but you're a divine mess. You know, as a human being, as a wave, you're totally unique, totally flawed, uh, full of imperfections and quirks, and that's what makes you so unique, as I said, and lovable. So the mind might call that a mess. As I said before, that's the mind's idea of purity. Get rid of impurity and become pure. But the true purity, the true perfection, is the embrace of that. So this is a falling in love with what the mind calls the mess, and then the mess becomes a divine mess. You are you may be a mess, but you're a divine mess. And so it's beautiful. You know, there's no, in this kind of spirituality, that there is no authority. You know, because it's no longer about copying someone else, being like someone, being like the guru. I want to be like them. You know, it's about the celebration of the uniqueness that you are, and recognizing our underlying shared essence, being the ocean and being the wave, without contradiction. On the deepest level, I am what you are, as the ocean, as consciousness. At the same time, we're both unique expressions. So what I would say is a true spirituality actually embraces that paradox. It embraces our sameness, our shared essence, but it also embraces our uniqueness. You know, so there's no authority on your uniqueness. You are that uniqueness. So this is where life becomes really an adventure, because you see there's no way to get it wrong. You can't get your uniqueness wrong. You know, so many people that I meet are so worried that they're going to stray from the path. You know, we talk about the path to enlightenment. We think of enlightenment as some kind of goal, you know, some kind of end point on a long journey, and we strive to get there. And then we worry, you know, we can even become quite anxious, even be fearful about straying from the path, or have to make sure I stay on the path. And we end up following someone else's path. But as the wonderful Joseph Campbell said, if the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. You know, so this whole idea of enlightenment as some fixed path, you know, this fixed path to enlightenment, actually I'd say that's a misunderstanding of enlightenment. There is no path towards enlightenment. There is no fixed way. Why? Because the moment is the way. The moment is the path. You can't stray from the path. You know, what happens in your life can't take you away from the path. Nothing can take you away from the path, because whatever happens in your life is the path. The path is the moment. The moment can't take you away from the path, because the path is whatever is happening in this moment. You know, and so even if this moment, even if the contents of this moment, even if this moment is you know, includes pain or fear or sadness or anger or even very intense doubt or very intense confusion, if that's what's here right now, that is the path. That is not a block to the path. That's not a block to enlightenment. There can't possibly be a block to enlightenment. What's appearing right now in this moment, even if it's painful, even if it's intense, even if there's fear and there's sadness and there's confusion and there's doubt, that is the path. That's the path appearing before your very eyes. You know, and you are the light. This is the true meaning of enlightenment. You're the light that's lighting up the path. So you are the light of consciousness itself. That's what we all are. And in that light, thoughts appear, and sensations appear, and feelings appear, and pain can appear, and doubt can appear, and fear, and anger, and confusion can appear, and excitement and bliss, and all of it can appear. But the deeper question is, to whom does all of it appear? You know, that's the fundamental question, who am I? So we come to know ourselves as consciousness itself, as the light. What you are is illuminating this moment. So whatever appears in this moment is not a block to the light. Whatever appears in this moment is illuminated. It's illuminated by the light that you are. So when you really begin to see that, you see that nothing can possibly block the light. It doesn't make sense anymore. Nothing can get in the way, nothing can block the path, you see. Because whatever appears is the path. So the whole thing really points to just a deep trust in whatever is arising in this moment. Knowing that life can't go wrong in that sense. And even if it seems as though life is going wrong right now, that is life. That's not life going wrong. That is life. And what you are is the light that's shining on that. That light is constant. That light can't switch off. It's that constant, ever-present light of consciousness that you are and that you've always been. It's not a state. States come and go, experiences come and go, thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, conclusions, certainties come and go. But what doesn't come and go is the illumination of all of that, that which is aware of all of that. That's the enlightenment. So it's not a state. It doesn't happen in time. It's what we're really pointing to is the ever-present light that you are. So even your apparent imperfections are illuminated, and we could call this love. That this is the embrace. What we're really talking about is the embrace. That's what the word enlightenment, I would say, was always pointing to, was just the embrace, the total embrace of this moment, including everything that appears, every thought, every sensation, every feeling, the doubt, the sadness, the pain. All of it is held in the embrace that you are. So from that perspective, even your imperfections are totally perfect. In this light, even your imperfections are perfect. They're just illuminated. What you are is illuminating them. Doesn't need to get rid of them. There's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no punishment, there's no sin. There's just this illumination. Forget your perfect offering. Leonard Cohen sings, "Forget your perfect offering." There's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in.